With a twinkle warm and tender, with a teardrop sweet splatter, never sent to surrender. Come what may, it does not matter. In my time I've seen so many who could not resist temptation. Never in the least of any has it chance to get away.
Oh, come, let's not procrastinate. No use to dilly-dally. In love and war a sally is better than delay. It is clear as golden honey that you're saving lots of money. More than $10 you can pocket thanks to me. More than $10 you can put in your pocket thanks to me. In your pocket thanks to me.
I want to thank you for joining me again for this. I can't believe that this is the 6th episode of Bach, Bagels, and Bob. And it's been a pleasure to see everybody and share so much with you and be part of the community. I'm going to mute everybody right now. Okay. So when you do need to talk, you'll have to unmute yourselves. I'm unmuted, correct? You're hearing me? Okay. Even though I've been using this quite a bit, I still make mistakes all the time. So if I do, just don't hesitate to say, like when I play a video, if I forget to optimize my screen, don't hesitate to say, Bob, I can't hear anything, or I don't see anything, because I still sometimes do forget. I want to start by saying, as I do each time, I want to thank everybody in the community who has been a part of what I've done and how a big part of making all of this happen. Part of why I started this was to connect with the community, connect with each other, connect with artists and musicians and listeners, board members, patrons, and with the community. As we slowly move into a recovery, I do want to acknowledge some of the businesses in the Madison area where the orchestra plays to say thank you and to acknowledge. So let me do that first and foremost. I want to thank everybody with the Madison Community Arts Center. Eric Hafen is the director. As many of you know who get the newsletter from myself and the orchestra, that we will be doing a virtual summer music festival this year, starting next Sunday. Actually, I see this as the kickoff to the summer festival this year. And we recorded a number of artists at the Madison Community Arts Center, in collaboration with them to put pieces together for a concert that will feature artists and guests from the Baroque Orchestra. So a thank you to the Madison Community Arts Center, the support from MACA, the Madison Arts and Culture Alliance, and the Madison Downtown Development Commission, who have helped us put this together, spread the word, and been part of helping us get into the Madison Arts Center. Local businesses that I go to in Madison. Madison Bagel Cafe is a place that opens its doors to us to sit and compose. For me, I go and sit, have a cup of coffee and a bagel, though I'm not sure how much coffee and bagels I'll be having for a while, but I go there and compose, and artists meet and discuss their business. Salvatore Minardi is a supporter of the orchestra and his salon here in Madison. Shanghai Jazz, one of the best jazz clubs in the world, is located right here in Madison. Romanelli's, many of you have been part of our celebrations when we party at Romanelli's in Madison. Evan Ardell Financial Services has been a big help in allowing me to put this show together and put the summer festival together. Same is true for Andrew Massini and his organization Sound Ledgers, his business of bookkeeping and accounting. But mostly we count on donations from listeners like you. Without you, there'd be no orchestra. Without you, there'd be no music. There'd be no programs. So we rely heavily on your support. however much you have that is possible. We greatly appreciate. So that's my reaching out and thank you to the community. I want to introduce you to our three special opera guests today. Then I'll show some video clips, and then they'll each talk a little bit about who they are, what they do when they're not singing, and just a basic introduction to them. But for now, just say hi to Soprano Timmie Cole, bass baritone Jason Adamo, and George, are you a bass or a baritone? You have to unmute yourself.
There we go. I should know this by now. I'm a baritone.
That's what I thought. And Baritone George Spitzer. So those are our guests. We're going to introduce Timmie first. But before I do, I like to show a video clip so you know who they are. Let me just find it. Not sure why I'm having trouble finding one, but there we go. So I'd like to play a clip. We're mostly going to talk about, I'm going to play clips from our recent productions of the Elixir of Love, and which was last summer's festival opera, and the summer before, the Fledermaus. So let's listen to Timmie a little bit singing Adina, her very first aria from Elixir of Love, when she's reading about the Elixir of Love. Timmie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Hi. So I'm Timmie Cole, and when I'm not singing, I am currently the director of musical theater, drama, dance, and voice at the Wharton Institute for the Performing Arts, which is in Berkeley Heights, also associated with the New Jersey Youth Orchestra and the Patterson Music Project. So I teach there. I teach voice lessons to students of all ages, voice lessons and piano lessons, and I now virtually, like everybody else. And I also direct their theater shows there. I've directed a lot of shows for our youth theater. Most recently, I did some summer workshops with students online. So it's new for me, just like this is new for you guys and Bob. I've had to move everything online, which has been a very interesting experience because theater and opera and all that is meant to be in person, right? But it's been interesting seeing how to do that. And like Bob, I've had to do a lot of my students recording things and then editing things together and that kind of thing. So over this summer, I did a 1-week workshop where my students, young students, did a virtual production of Moana. And then just last week, I finished a 2-week camp/production with some teens. We did a virtual performance of Little Shop of Horrors, very reduced, of course. So that's been fun. It's been interesting exploring that. But I love to sing, and I love singing with Bob and George and Jason, who I've worked with a lot before. So I'm happy to be there. Hopefully that was good, Bob. Do you want more details?
That was terrific. Thank you, Timmie. It was a real pleasure. Next, I think I'd like to introduce George. So let me find a George. I'm going to play your aria, your entrance aria as Belcore. So let me just get it all set up here, and we will watch George Spitzer singing Belcore. He's the sergeant who comes to the village and woos Adina.
Just as Paris in the story gave the apple to Aphrodite, so do I extol your glory and salute my village belle. Fair Adina, take these flowers as a token from Belcore to repay me and reward me. Won't you graciously accord me your fair hand and heart as well? I have made a deep impression. I can see it in your glances. But of course it is no wonder. I'm good looking and I'm a sergeant. I have never met a girl yet unresponsive to a helmet. Love and Mars are good companions, so it's written in the stars. Love and Mars are good companions, so it's written in the stars.
What shall I do?
Love and Mars are good companions, so it's written the stars. I live in Montclair, New Jersey. I'm on the voice faculty at Montclair State University. So we're revving up for our fall semester. So that's what I've been preparing the last couple of weeks. Can you hear me okay?
You were breaking up a bit.
Is that a little bit better?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. The internet's still a little weird from the storm that happened the other day. So I live in Montclair, New Jersey. I'm on the voice faculty at Montclair State University. So we are preparing for our fall semester. And just like Timmy, it's been an adventure, so we had to move to online lesson format, and Zoom was what I was using for a little while, but we've moved on to some other programs. So I've, had to kind of rebuild my whole studio with different technology and a keyboard, audio interface, and it's been a crazy shift, but, things are working out. I can't believe this was a year ago that we did this production already, but it was definitely a fun experience, working with Bob the last 3 or 4 operas that I've worked with him and my colleagues, Jason and Timmy. It's just been a lot of fun. And every time that I do productions with Bob, I learn more about myself and my craft and to push myself to be a better artist. And I'm very thankful.
Well, thank you, George. Great to see you. Great to hear from you. Always a pleasure. Now let me get set and we'll introduce Jason. And I might as well stick with the same opera. Jason was Dulcamara, the doctor who sells the elixir of love. Of course, it's really just wine, but he fools everybody, and in the end, everybody believes that there is an elixir of love. So let's watch Jason as Dulcamara.
For instance, here's a liniment, my special pain reliever. It does away with mice and rats and also with a fever. For cases which are chronic, there's nothing like this tonic. Just read these testimonials, they're signed and certified. By using this great remedy, I positively guarantee an 80-year-old farmer became the happy grandpa of 15 healthy grandsons before he finally died. He lived to be 100 if I remember right. This huckleberry syrup will positively clear up the mumps, the hives, and whooping cough in less than overnight. You ladies of maturer years would like your youth recaptured. Apply this cream at night, my dears. Your mates will be enraptured. What misses under 20 would like a peach complexion? What lads with prudish sweethearts would win their quick affection? Then this amazing remedy is what you ought to buy, is what you ought to buy, is what you ought to buy. You bachelors and husbands, you girls and married women, don't wait because I only have a limited supply. And here I have a recipe especially prepared by me for curing any malady immediately and unfailingly. It cures the worst rheumatic pain, relieves a cough and muscle strain. No matter what your trouble is, it makes you feel like new. Though it may seem a paradox, it also cures the chicken pox. It makes hysteric girls serene, makes thin men fat and fat men lean. Although it is a sacrifice, I make this generous offer. Dear gentlemen and ladies, don't think it over twice. Come all you villagers, don't miss this opportunity. Step up and buy my remedy. I'll make a special price today. I'll make a special price today. I'll make a special price today. I'll make a special price. Many 100 miles I brought it at great cost and at great effort. You will ask me, how much is it? How much is this giant bottle? $100. No, 50. No, 20. Well, no one has to worry. just to prove my genuine pleasure at the way you have received me, I am selling you this treasure at $3 for each flask.
$3, what a bargain, what could one ask? What could one ask? What could one ask?
Here you are, the greatest ever, the discovery of the ages. All of Europe knows I never sell it under 1350. But since I myself was born here in this very self-same county, you may have it for $3 just to demonstrate my bounty. It is clear as golden honey that you're saving lots of money. More than 10 beloved dollars you can pocket thanks to me. More than 10 beloved dollars you can put in your pocket thanks to me. In your pocket thanks to me.
What he says is true, I'll buy it.
Try it.
He says it's true.
$3.
You're a great and generous
Step up, friends.
author.
A great and generous
Step up, friends.
I remember you forever after what you've done for me. After what you've done for me.
It's my patriotic duty to fulfill the people's needs. For the love of one's dear country often calls for selfless deeds.
He's a doctor who fulfills the people's needs.
For the love of country calls for
Fulfills the people's needs.
Oh, man's love of his country often calls for selfless deeds. Oh, man's love of his country often calls for selfless deeds.
Okay. Well, I am an opera singer, obviously. Before that, for over 12 years, I was an event planner in Manhattan. And I did a lot of nonprofit events, big fundraisers, and that sort of thing. And then 2 years ago, the company was kind of dissolving, so I decided to make a career change. And now I'm in my second year of my master's program at Mannes School of Music. So I'm on the other end of the teaching divide, and I'm learning everything that an opera singer needs to know, I guess. And it's been an interesting experience, certainly, but I'm enjoying it. And, this is a crazy time to be doing all this stuff, but I figured it was time for me to make a change. So we'll see what I do after that. But, one thing I do on the side, I've been doing a little bit over the summer, is I'm also a voice actor. So occasionally I do the little voiceover jobs for various projects. So, and, I've been singing with Bob for a long time now, done a lot of nice operas, nice roles and things, and hopefully we'll be up and running as soon as possible.
I hope so. Thank you, Jason. That
Sure.
was terrific. One of the things too is that I have several questions. Several people have asked me some questions ahead of time, so I would like to pose it to you. one of the questions that's asked is when you learn a new role, how do you prepare a new role, so a role you've never done before, whether it be with me, with somebody else, or somebody comes up to you, not necessarily a brand new opera, but a new role for you. What goes into your preparation for learning a new role? You can feel free, jump in, and Jason, George, Timmie, just jump in as you want.
Well, the one thing that I do immediately is I try to read through the text of the character. I look through the vocal range and just see how it fits my voice, and just try to run through a couple of things. I'll take it to a vocal coach, a colleague of mine, and we'll kind of run through some of the repertoire. And that's just the very beginning of the process. And for me, it takes a while for this to just marinate in my bones and my body, vocally, character wise. I think it's a very intense process. And if my colleagues, would like to continue with that theme,
I would agree with all of those things that George just said, for sure. The first thing I do is read through it. And then once I'm getting to know the music a little bit, one of the things that really helps me memorize all the cues is just listening over and over and over again. Obviously, you can't always do that if it's not something, and I have been lucky enough to do some shows with you, Bob, that I didn't have any basis on because there are no previous recordings. But when you're able to do something that's in the standard repertoire, there's tons of recordings. So like finding and not just one, like listen to different recordings of the opera or show, and figure out how you want to take cues from them and then make it your own. Because you never want, and I say this to my students also, you never want to sing anything exactly the same as someone else did it, because then why are you singing it, right? I'm sure Jason and George would agree with that. So, but listening to different versions of things helps you figure out, okay, what's your style to doing it. But one of the main things that helps me memorize is then just singing it over and over and over again. And sometimes I will do that with just a piano, or a cappella, but sometimes it's just doing it with a recording over and over. That really, really helps before you're able to get in and do it with your colleagues.
Yeah, I would agree with all of that. I would definitely start with the text, always reading it, translating it. You kind of sometimes need to do your own translation if it's a foreign language, because you're not necessarily going to get the perfect translation out there. But singing in English is certainly a benefit, because I don't have to do all that translating. But if it's French or German, I'm going to need to translate into IPA, International Phonetic Alphabet, because my French and my German are not as good as my Italian and my English. And just working on the text for a long time, doing it in rhythm, and then adding notes, learning the music. It's a long, long process. And recordings also help a lot. I will always try to find a recording, if I'm doing it in a particular language, of a singer who's a native of that country, because you'd be surprised how many mistakes you find on even professional recordings if they're not a native speaker, especially of French or German or even Italian. So it is a very long process. You have to take whatever input you can. Sometimes you go to a coach, and they can help you out as well. And I try to find a something to practice with, a track or whatever. I'll have my coach work on something for me. Just so I can keep drilling it over and over and over again.
Terrific. Thank you. Thank you so much. Another question that has often come up, one thing I realized when I've gone back and looked at some of the operas that we've done together, I've tended to, it seems, pick operas that are almost more ensemble operas than aria-oriented operas. And that's especially true. The last three operas we've done together have been La Bohème, the Fledermaus, and Elixir of Love. And there really aren't that many solo arias in any of those. La Boheme has the Mimi's aria, Rodolfo's aria, and then the duet in the first act. But the rest of it is a lot of, even the Musetta's Waltz, which people think is an aria, it only has like one verse in which Musetta sings by herself, and the rest of it is interjections, other people singing. So they're more ensemble works. So I'm going to play an excerpt from, again, we'll go back to Elixir, of a duet, Timmie and Jason singing. And then after we talk about it a little bit, I'll play an ensemble with George as well, so that we're all featured here. In fact, maybe I'll do George first, because I know he has to go teach before we might finish. So let me play an excerpt, a duet with George. And actually, it's a trio. It's the conclusion of the first act of Fledermaus, which is really, people think of Fledermaus and they think of it's fun, it's waltzes, it's Johann Strauss. But the finale to Act One is actually pretty complex. And a lot of the trio, and Dimitri Zigrino is the third person in this performance. But it's a really complex trio in a lot of ways. So why don't we watch a little bit of that, and then we'll go to, and we'll talk about performing duets and trios versus solo work. It's also a long finale, so I'm going to have to cut it short. I mean, the Act One is about 45 minutes long. The finale is about 12 minutes.
Night and day, light and gay, let us drink our cares away. Night and day, night and gay, we drink our cares away. A joke in its place is very fine. Now come with me, dear Mr. Eisenstein.
What shall I do?
I'm not your Eisenstein. I'm not he. Let me tell you. You are not he. The devil. Oh, come, be more civil.
For heaven's sake, say that you are.
I wonder what's behind all this.
Good sir, are you accusing me of any impropriety? That would be quite absurd. How can you think so ill of me to question my integrity? And out of lady's word does the situation here not appear to be quite clear? What man would dare to stay right there and have a tete-a-tete at 8:30 in such a state, except my one and legal mate?
What man would stay right there and have a tete-a-tete
At half state in such a state,
except
my
one
one
and
legal mate? At night, when he's at home with me, he always dines informally in dressing
test, I'm sure you did not lie. But come, dear Mr. Eisenstein, and kiss your wife goodbye.
Goodbye.
Kiss her goodbye. Kiss her goodbye.
Well then, if you insist, now there have the kiss.
Since I have nobly risen to live your husband's life of crime, before I go to prison, come kiss me just one more time.
Enough, I must be on my way, for I must go to a soiree. Let's leave without delay, so let us leave without delay.
Surely we'll meet my husband as well.
Perhaps we shall be in the very same cell.
Be still, I implore.
You may be sure.
Be still, I implore.
You may be sure.
My horse and carriage wait, so come, we shall be late. My lovely, lovely pigeon house, as nice as it can be. The birds who flutter in and out get food and lodging free. I just have one more vacancy, a cozy little nest. If you will kindly come with me, it will be yours immediately. Don't miss this opportunity to be my honored guest.
If it must be, then I shall go.
Do it for me.
Albeit so,
Come on, let's go.
I'll go, but not before I kiss my wife once more.
Enough, my friend, now please behave.
Another kiss will make me brave.
No, enough, you must be going.
One last kiss, and then I'll be fortified.
Enough domestic bliss, my friend, or there will never be an end. Enough, enough, my friend. My lovely, lively pigeon house, as nice as it can be. The birds who flutter in and out get food and lodging free. I just as one more vacancy, a cozy little nest. Don't miss this opportunity to be the honored guest.
Oh, yes, no,
Because I didn't accept this invitation.
that's for me.
I guess not because I didn't accept an invitation. We'll go. It is me, it must be so.
What is it like to put a trio together, to make all that that complex music work musically, vocally, operatically, staying in character, dramatically pushing it forward? Any thoughts?
I personally love the ensemble numbers. I think I like that more than the arias, but I think it takes a lot of work, especially for this trio, because I remember we had difficulties coming together, and I think it's just because all of our parts were so different with the rhythm and hearing the orchestra, and sometimes we didn't line up. And like I said, it's my favorite part is the ensembles, but I also think it's the most difficult part. So Timmie, I don't know, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I would just echo all of that 100%. Right. I mean, me too. I thought I was going to be the only one who said that, like, I actually enjoy the ensemble work much more than I do singing just an aria by myself on stage. It's so much more fun because it's so, I mean, I'm sure you two would agree, it's so much easier to like be in character when you have someone, just like when you're just regular acting and not singing, right? When you have a scene partner, you can be so much more engaged, and it just, you fall into it so easily. It's so much fun. But yeah, that trio in particular, That was troublesome for us for a while, but watching it now, it sounded so good. But I remember we were all very worried about it because it just like, and some trios are, and quartets or duets are easier. It depends on the composer and it depends on the style of music. But no matter what it is, whenever you lock in together, it's just like the best feeling. It's so great.
Yeah, I was impressed too. I thought it came out really, really ended up being extremely well done. And I think the amazing thing about it is when we rehearsed it, and any similar trios, quartets, or even some duets, they seem like, oh, this is never going to line up. As good as it gets is fine. And then somehow it just flows. And when it does flow, I'm sure people in the audience would say, well, where's the difficulty? You know, it flows so naturally, and the responses and the acting and everything is so great. Before we talk with Jason about doing an ensemble work, because I know George has to leave in a few minutes. One other question that's come up is, what style of operatic music, or what style of singing, I guess I should say, do you have a preference, or what are your favorite roles that you've done, and what are the dream roles that you hope someday to do? George, why don't we start with you?
Oh, well, I think my dream role, I want to play the Count in Figaro. I switched. I used to be a bass baritone, and now I'm a baritone. So me and Jason switched. You know, he was baritone, now he's a bass baritone. So, you know, that's relatively new repertoire for me. So that's a role that I really would like to play. So.
And what are some of your favorite roles that you've done?
Oh, that's a hard question, you know. Anything Mozart that I've done, I really love Mozart. Puccini, anything Puccini. It's really hard to narrow down because every role that I've played is special in its own way. So there are certain things that I enjoy about every composer. So it's really hard for me to narrow down exactly, you know. I think maybe one role would be the poet from The Turk in Italy by Rossini. That was a fun role to play. That's probably one of my favorites. But like I said, it's really difficult because I love Mozart, I love Puccini. Those are my favorite composers to perform.
It is hard. When somebody asks me what my favorite opera is, I usually say one I'm conducting now. Whatever I'm doing now, that tends to be my favorite. So, Jason, what are some of your favorite roles that you've done? Roles that you hope someday to do?
Yeah, this question prompted a lot of thought. I came to the conclusion I've done some of my dream roles already, which is a great thing. I was very lucky because Figaro, Mozart's Figaro, is a great role. I've done that a few times, and you know, it's just fantastic. I love Mozart. And Don Giovanni is another one. That's a fantastic role. And now I'm going to start working on Leporello, but still would love to do Don Giovanni again someday. And also I was looking over things that I've done in Silvio in Pagliacci, which is one I will never do again because it's too high. But the music is fantastic. I love Pagliacci, and that role, Silvio, the duet, is fantastic. And then I guess the only things that really stand out for me that I might like to focus on are I would like to have a shot at Scarpia and Tosca. That would be cool. And definitely the Toreador. I have to get the Toreador in at some point from Carmen. And maybe some Wagner. I don't know. I don't know if I could ever do Wagner, but Flying Dutchman would be pretty cool. So.
Sounds good. Timmie.
Yeah, like everyone else, it's a hard question. But I'll start with favorites, I guess. So favorite roles, actually, Adina from Elixir, I've done a few times, and I love that character. It really resonates with me. I love the story, and I love, like, Donizetti just feels so good in my voice. So I've been very lucky to do that a few times, and I was so happy to do it again last year. And actually, I really enjoyed singing the Countess in Figaro as well. That's a great character. And Mozart is really, really wonderful, of course. And then my third favorite that I've done is actually one of your originals, Bob. I love doing your Telltale Heart, that little like one-act opera. If anyone has not seen it, you should go on YouTube and watch it. It's a fantastic little, what is it, like 25
minutes.
Yeah, it's the story, The Telltale Heart, and just like, it's a great character that you can just keep coming back to. So every time I sing it, I learn something new. It's fantastic music, but a real acting challenge also. So that's definitely in my favorites. Roles that I would like to do, for sure, Lucia is like my dream role. And someday I'm going to do it. I just know it. I also love and perform in musical theater a lot as well. So actually one of my dream roles, which I don't think I'm going to be cast as anytime soon, but one day I'll get there, is Mrs. Lovett in Sweeney Todd, which is opera-esque.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, sounds good. Now let's get back to singing the ensembles. So talk to Jason and Timmie doing duets. And let me play for everybody the duet from the Docamara Adina duet from Act 2 of Elixir.
His was true love, and I despised it. Cruel girl, what did I do?
It is obvious she adores him.
I despised it.
What she needs is my elixir.
Despised it. And it's true then that Marino turned the heads of all the women.
Every girl and every woman is completely mad about him. All the females of the village cannot bear to do without him.
Ah, has he told you who is his favorite of the girls who pursue and tease
Of the barnyard he's commander, all those geese in just one gander. Of the barnyard he's commander, all those geese in just one gander.
And to me he was devoted.
What she needs is my elixir, what she needs is my elixir.
I alone possessed his heart.
She adores him, it is clear, she adores him, it is clear. Of the barnyard he's commander, all those geese in just one gander. Of the barnyard he's commander, all those geese in just one gander. What she needs is my elixir, what she needs is my elixir, what she needs is my elixir, she adores him, it is clear. What she needs is my elixir, what she needs is my elixir, what she needs is my elixir, she adores him, it is clear. She adores him, she adores him, she adores him, it is clear. She adores him, she adores him, she adores him, it is clear. She adores him, she adores him, she adores him, it is clear. Adina, do not go now. If you're willing, I can help you. You are lovesick, that much I know now. From your glances, your air of mourning. If you want it, don't evade me, stop pretending. If you want it, I can give you just a thing to make you well. It will cure you and relieve you through the magic of its spell. If you want it, I can give you just a thing to make you well. It will cure you and relieve you through the magic of its spell. It will cure you and relieve you through the magic of its spell.
Oh, that would suit me to perfection, but it would not make me well.
Would you like 1,000 lovers at your feet, abject and moody?
I don't need 1,000 lovers, only one for whom I'm swooning.
For the women will be jealous, daughters, widows, cousins, mothers.
I have never been too zealous
like a man with riches.
I am not concerned with riches.
Then a noble, a country squire.
Never read what I desire.
Will you follow my directions?
I don't need to cast reflections.
It would do you lots of good.
What I do not think it would. No,
But it
I do
would,
not think
but it
it
would. If you follow my directions, it would do you lots of good.
I really don't think that it would.
Are you casting an aspersion on the power of my potion?
I respect your potion highly, but I have a better version. Nemorino can't escape me. He'll be mine and mine alone.
I can see her tricks are clever, even better than my own. Yes, even better than my own. Yes, even better than my own. My own.
With a twinkle warm and tender, with a teardrop sweetest matter, who sent to surrender? Come what may, it does not matter. In my time I've seen so many who could not resist temptation. Never in the least of any has there chance to get away. No, my elixir is my beauty. In my eyes you'll find my charms. With a twinkle warm and
the
tender,
rascal.
with a teardrop
She is
sweetest
clever.
I will force her
She
to
knows
so
more. She knows more sly tricks than I do.
In my time I've
She's
seen
an
so
artist.
many who could not resist
She's a
temptation.
devil.
Never they still obey.
Ah,
Has
the
a chance to get
rascal.
away.
She can give me competition with a small clever notions.
He has no chance
Comes
to
to more than
get
all my
away.
potions. Yes, she's a rascal. Who can give
He
me
has no chance
competition?
to get away.
Yes, I'd exchange my choicest potions for a few of all her charms. Yes, I'd exchange my choicest potions for a few, for a few. All her charms. Yes, I'd exchange my choicest potions for a few, for a
Okay, so Jason, how do you feel, and Timmie, about doing duets? And Timmie, you've said some things already. Jason, what do you think? And that duet seems trickier. One of the things that I find interesting about it is Timmie's part, Adina, is these beautiful lyrical lines, and Jason Dokamara's roles are almost patterned, and you fitting it together. Is again, it's like with the trio to Fledermaus. It's much more complex and challenging, at least it seems to me, because the mood shifts, and especially that first part, Timmie's singing this nice, beautiful line, and then you come in, the tendency, even in the orchestra, is to rush your part to get it so fast, and it's not right. So lining it up, it's trickier. Even a duet like that is much trickier than it might seem, to me anyway.
Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely. I think I guess we're like an odd group of opera singers here in that we all prefer ensembles to arias. I don't like arias, especially in this role. I like ensembles a lot, except for this role because it's so hard. There's a lot of patter. That one phrase that you heard there, she can give me competition with her, blah, 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 blah. I worked on that a lot to get that right because it was super hard to do fast. Most ensembles are not that hard. So, but the key, I think, to doing ensembles is to listen and listen and listen. I was listening to every instrument in the orchestra and what they were doing, listening to Timmie and just listening to what I was doing and trying to make it all line up. And it does get a bit harder when you can't see the conductor as well. So this particular one's a big challenge.
Yeah, I would agree with that one. You picked a bunch of hard ensemble numbers to show them, Bob. Yeah, it's really, really tricky. to try to fit it together. And I would agree, when you can't see the conductor, it makes it even more tricky. But I would just echo what Jason said, that like it's like spinning a bunch of plates in the air at once, right? Because you have to keep them all going. Because the second you lose concentration on what the orchestra is doing or your scene partner is doing, it could all come crashing down. But it didn't. So
No, it came out, it was great. Again, it's one of those things where I'm sure people in the audience said, wow, that's pretty cool. That's not so hard. And maybe that's one of the keys, is to make something that is really, really hard, but not let the audience know how hard it is. And staying in character, which I thought you both did brilliantly. Ilkamara thinks he's selling the potion. Adina thinks she is the potion. It came out perfect.
I always say that to my students, and that's definitely how, I mean, I think, Jason, you would probably agree with this, that like singing is really, really hard, and acting is really, really hard, and doing it with an orchestra and a conductor is really, really hard. But our job as the singer is to make it look easy. So that's how you know you're doing it right.
Sounds good, and everything sounded great. I'd like to play one more clip, if it's okay. Just because it's one that I really love. It's Jason, and I haven't shown anything of Jason from Die Fledermaus, so I want to show one excerpt. My favorite moment in Die Fledermaus actually is in the second act, when Falke, which is Jason's role in this, when he sings about love. And I think that in these times when we're dealing with so many difficulties and so many challenges, Strauss's message is still so beautiful. It's all about love and being together and staying connected and just enjoying life. So the final clip I want to play is just this very short clip from Die Fledermaus.
Friends gather near, here's my idea. Let us hear. I see that happy couples are meeting, and many hearts with true love are beating. So let us continue in this happy mood and sing to love and brotherhood.
Let us sing to brotherhood. That's good.
Let us sing to love and brotherhood. You too, lovely lady, must be there.
When all are kissing, I can't be missing.
Lift our glasses and drink again, and everybody join the refrain. Sing to love, love we never knew before. May it flourish and bloom forevermore. Sing to love, everlasting happiness. Let us all be friends forever, for eternity, a fraternity of companions, friends, and lovers. First one kiss, then one more. You, always you. I kiss you, you kiss me, you, only you, only you, only you.
So we sing to love, dream of love, and we all sing and live together and stay connected. And I hope everybody stays well. Thank you, Timmie. Thank you, Jason, for joining me this morning and for sharing your thoughts and your experiences. Thank you to everybody for being with me. I'm not sure when the next session will be. This is, and we obviously can't do an opera this year, so we kicked off with this opera talk. but the summer festival will be appearing. We're going to be doing it virtually. Thank you to Brian Ferran for recording everybody at the Madison Community Arts Center. Starting next Sunday at 7:30, please go to my website, www.robertbutts.com. The orchestra website is currently being redone, so we're putting everything on my website. And look there, you'll find there's a news headline about the festival. It will give you information where to watch. At 7:30, it's going to be simulcast on Facebook and YouTube. And then it'll be on the website for a week for those of you who want to watch it. We have several artists who have appeared and done special things. We have music from the Baroque period through 21st century, a couple of world premieres of some of my compositions. Timmie will be singing on one of the shows. Jason did a set. Jason is going to be on next Sunday's evenings. The very first concert will feature Jason on August 16th. And then I think the second one or third one will be Timmie's set. So I hope you'll join us and spread the word as we have not given in to the difficult times. Instead, we've said, how can we embrace it? How can we do something different? And how can we still provide opportunities for Timmie, for Jason, for singers to sing, for musicians and instrumentalists to play, for all of us to come together. So stay well. Have a great rest of the summer, and hopefully I'll see you all real soon. Thank you for joining.
You too, Bob. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
With a twinkle warm and tender, with a teardrop tiny splatter, who seemed to surrender. Come what may, it does not matter. In my time I've seen so many who could not resist temptation. Never in the least of any has it chance to get away.
Oh, come, let's not procrastinate. No use to dilly-dally. In love and war a sally is better than delay. It is clear as golden honey that you're saving lots of money. More than 10 below the dollars you can pocket thanks to me. More than 10 below